Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. On this channel, I talk about other things like today when I'll be reviewing the new Nollywood film in cinemas, Stitches. Stitches centers around Boma, a beautiful and humble fashion designer who moves to Lagos and starts working for a high-class fashion house. Almost immediately, she meets a handsome doctor from an affluent family, and she soon finds herself navigating the complexities of falling for someone of a significant social class while also trying to hold down a very demanding job. Stitches is directed by Ghanaian filmmaker Shirley Frimpong-Manso. Now, I was fortunate enough to have seen this movie Stitches at its premiere a few days ago. Funny story, I ran into the producer of the film, Chris Ode, who is a great guy, by the way. I've talked about him before on this channel. I met him earlier this year. Anyway, I bumped into him at the cinema and he asked if I was coming for the premiere, which was happening later that evening. And I said I wasn't because I wasn't invited. And there and then, Chris Ode invited me for the premiere. So thanks again, Chris Ode, if you happen to see this. The premiere was lovely. There was lots to eat and drink, saw lots of awesome people, friends of mine as well. Oh, and I took a selfie or a picture rather with Jemima Osunde. And if you can tell by the smile on my face, that was kind of a big deal to me. And I do remember telling Chris Ode when I bumped into him that I was looking forward to this film because Jemima is in it. I think Jemima is a really good actress. I also love the work she does as an influencer on social media. I think she's very enterprising, very industrious, and she's quite a stunner. And I told Chris Ode I was looking forward to the film because she's in it. And there are films that I see just because Jemima is in them, right? At the time when I said that to him, I assumed Jemima was one of the leads in the film. I hadn't seen the trailer or I didn't know much about the film. And I had seen, the first time I heard about the film, it was on Jemima's stories. So I thought she was one of the leads in the film, but she's not one of the lead actors. She's in a supporting role in this film. More about that as we get into this review, perhaps. Anyway, let's dive into it now, beginning with the performances. Now, the lead actors in this film are Adaobi Dibor, who plays Boma, and Obinna Okenwa, who plays Mofe. And Adaobi's character, Boma, moves to Lagos, and she's a seamstress, and she moves to Lagos, joins this big fashion house, kind of run by or owned by Dakore's character, Auntie IB. And there's circumstances that make her and Obinna's character cross paths, right? And then this budding romance kind of starts between them. And their acting was sufficient. I'm trying to remember if the chemistry was chemistrying. Judging by the reactions in the audience, I guess it was. But their acting was sufficient. Like I said, Dakore Egbuson-Akande is in the movie as Auntie IB. Dakore actually kind of has like two roles in this film. I won't go further into that, but her performance as Auntie IB was okay, was nice, and there was an interesting dynamic between Auntie IB and her daughter Priye, played by Tomi Ojo. This guy is also in the film, Nasboi. Many of you know Nasboi from his skits and whatnot. He plays Mekus in the film. This other like hotshot tailor in the fashion house. And there are actually some interesting faces and attractive faces in this movie. Ariyiike Dimples is also in the movie. Martha Ehinome, who I don't think I've talked about Martha Ehinome since Madame Coin Coin like 2 or 3 years ago. And she's a brilliant actress. I think I just see her more on YouTube than in movies. But yeah, I'd like for that to be remedied. I'd like to see her in more movies. Who else is in the film? I said Tomi Ojo is in the film. Oh, Regina Askia is also in the movie as Chief Remy. This I think she's a politician, but she's a very wealthy woman. And I was gonna say how she comes into the story, but I'll leave that to you guys for when you see the film. Let's just say she's a customer of like the fashion house. These actors I've mentioned. Oh, I forgot to mention Jemima. Jemima is also in the film. She's not one of the people in the fashion house. She's on Chief Remy's side, so she has most of her scenes with Regina Askia. Like I said, a lot of these actors their characters work in the fashion house, so a lot of them have their scenes together, and I think they do work well together in the movie. Hey guys, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Are you a big fan of Nollywood, and do you think that you do well at a Nollywood-centered games night? If the answer to both questions is yes, then I'd like to invite you to the Nolly Trivia. It's a trivia night filled with Nollywood-centered games where prizes will be won. It's been running every month since April, and I'd like to invite you to the next edition, which is on Saturday, the 13th of December. To buy a ticket, you can search for the Nolly Trivia on the website tix.africa, or you can just click the link in the description box below. So grab a ticket, and I hope to see you on Saturday, the 13th of December at the Nolly Trivia. What I liked. The cinematography in this film wasn't bad. It was quite good. In my previous review, the review of Three Cold Dishes, I did mention that Kesi Obiajulu was the DOP in that, the director of photography. He was also the DP in this one as well. And I guess at this point, it's safe to say that if Kesi Obiajulu is the cinematographer, or the DOP rather, of a film, the film is going to look visually stunning. Production design also was quite good. Visually, things looked really nice from a design perspective, like the sets and where things were placed and how people looked. Production design was quite good. The wardrobe and styling also was good, which should have been the case actually, because this is a film that's largely about fashion. It even features Nollywood's foremost stylist and wardrobe consultant, Yolanda Okereke. She featured in the film. I don't know if she handled the wardrobe in the movie, but she featured as a guest, or like she made a cameo rather, in the movie. What else did I like about this film? I liked that Dakore, how do I say this without giving away any spoilers? I like how they used Dakore in this film. Let me put it that way. What I didn't like. This will be the first time that I'll say what I'm about to say in one of my reviews. The fine girl to fine boy ratio in this movie was off. Let me explain. In this movie, you had fine women like Jemima Osunde, Martha Ehinome. Shout outs to Edo women, by the way, because Jemima and Martha hail from Edo State, and I'm from Edo State as well. Anyway, moving on. Ariyiike Dimples, also in the film. Tomi Ojo, another fine woman in the film. And of course, the lead, Adaobi Dibor, also another fine woman. On the men's side, you have Obinna Okenwa, the male lead. And I think that's pretty much it. Not to say that the other men in this film are not handsome, but you guys know what I mean, right? Being handsome or good looking in real life is different from being good looking in a movie. In movies or on the big screen, you need to amp things up because like the TV or the screen tunes things down. So myself, for example, I don't think I'm a handsome guy. I'm average, right? But if I were to be in a movie, I'd look even less average. I would be toned down. It would take a lot to make me look desirable on screen. And I think that's the general thing with lots of people in movies, right? So while, Chimezie Imo is a handsome guy in real life, on the big screen, he doesn't like jump at you. You don't do like a double take, right? You may need to do a lot to like make him look handsome or desirable. Not to say, once again, that he's not a handsome guy in real life. And Obinna Okenwa, yeah, he's the only like strikingly handsome guy in the movie. Whereas you have 5 attractive young ladies in this film. Okay? So it felt like an imbalance. And this is relevant because the target demographic for this film, I believe, is young women. It's kind of like a chick flick, but even if it's not a chick flick, it appeals more to young women. And while young women like seeing fellow women on the big screen, they also like seeing fine boys in a movie. But nonetheless, if you have fine, attractive young ladies, you need to have almost an equal number of attractive young men in the movie as well. And I don't think the movie did that. And I think it lost points because of that. But moving on, the sound editing in this film was problematic. At the premiere, my hope is they fixed the sound problems after the premiere. Because in the movie, when people are cheering and there's loud applause in the film, the volume was too high. And myself, and I noticed a few other people around me, when that happened, we'd look around to see if the noise or the applause is coming from the audience or it's coming from the screen. And I think every time it was coming from the movie. Also, the music at times felt really unnecessarily loud. So the sound editing in this film, I hope, was corrected after the premiere. What else? The final act of this film, what word can I use? Was not to my taste. Let me put it that way. Not to my taste. It felt a bit rushed. It felt like this film was missing scenes. Like something would happen here and then something will happen here, but you'd feel like there should have been something in between both scenes, right? That actually sounds like a totally different point. But still, the third and final act of this film kind of felt rushed and felt like it could have been better. And then also this movie felt like it was on the long side. Who should see it? See Stitches if you like a popcorn type of film or a cheesy romance film. And there's nothing wrong with if that's your cup of tea, right? I mean, there have been several successful films that have been cheesy romance films or cheesy rom-coms. So if that's the kind of thing you like, and if you like seeing young, attractive actors and fashion is also your thing, I think you'll enjoy Stitches. In conclusion, I think I expected something different, which is surprising because I try to not have any expectations when I go in to see these movies. But I think between the title, Stitches, and Jemima being inside in the movie, I had an image in mind. For example, I thought Jemima, like I said earlier, was going to be the lead in the film. And from the title Stitches, I thought it was a play on words. Like the film was so funny, it was going to leave the audience in stitches. So I was expecting a rom-com. I knew there'd be romance because I knew there were women in the film from the poster that I saw. But I thought that because of the title Stitches, it was going to leave us in stitches. And I thought that suggested that it was to be a comedy. I thought that the romance element in the film was going to be about somebody who had been heartbroken a lot. And she now he or she meets this person, and they're like stitching their feelings or their heart back together, like putting the pieces back together and like stitching things back together. So I thought that was what they were going to do, or that was what the film was going to be about based on the title. It wasn't until I got to the premiere that I knew that this film had fashion and, tailoring and whatnot in the movie. So prior to that, this is what I thought the movie was going to be about. So maybe me not enjoying it as much as I thought I would boils down to that. And I don't think I could have helped myself. I saw a movie title and I saw one of the actors that was going to be in the movie, and my imagination went to town. And I don't know how I could have avoided that. So maybe me not enjoying it as much as I could have came down to me having expectations. But honestly, if I were to have been the one to have directed this movie or made this movie, I would have played on those themes of stitches, leaving you in stitches, and also stitching your heart together or putting the pieces of your broken hearts back together. Nonetheless, for those who are into this type of film, I think it's still an enjoyable watch. It's time for me to now rank or rate the film. I give this film 2.5 jollofs over 5. And it gets an additional 0.5 because I enjoyed the premiere. Anyway, guys, if you see Stitches or if you've seen Stitches, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. I'm really curious to hear what other people thought about this film. So if you've seen Stitches or if you plan to see it, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. Also, if you enjoyed this review, do me a favor and like it by clicking on the like button just underneath the video, and subscribe to this channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. On this channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews. Sometimes I talk about other things. To check out some of my past reviews, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. This is the last few days of November. By the time this comes out, it's probably December, the final stretch of 2025. Lots of big films coming out. So yeah, lots to look forward to in December. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been awesome. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.